Should I talk like this or this more? This? Talk like this? Like this better?
Yeah. You want to get right up in that mouth hole.
Okay. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Too Much to Say.
Too much to say in the heels.
The podcast where we talk about a whole lot and then some. That's just kind of the mantra I try to force all
What
the
is
time.
it? So tell it to me again. Too much to say, where we have too much to say and then a lot.
We have a whole lot to say and then some.
Whole lot to say and then some.
Because it's like too much.
I'll get it down one of these days.
One of these records. One of these records. Today we're going to be talking about, we're kind of going to get into it. This is more of a Too Much to Rank episode. We're going to be ranking our top 3 social media platforms.
AKA Too Much to Rank. Social media edition.
Social media. I think this is where our graphics should be like, boom.
Yeah, it's like an explosion.
Yeah.
Social media edition.
It's just a bunch of boomers yelling.
Before we get into like the topic at hand, though, I think something needs to be let out of Pandora's box, if you will.
Oh boy.
You don't know where I'm going with this, but you will know where I'm going with this in just a minute. So Eric, you and I
feel like, all right, please pay attention to our sponsor, Casper Mattresses. No, I'm just kidding.
We just got back from a lovely meal at a favorite of ours, Las Delicias.
We've been there once.
Well, I
guess individually we've been there a lot.
It's a favorite of both of ours separately. Yeah, tonight
my work got me on it.
Yeah. You and I were having a lovely time eating our delicious food. We're
going okay.
Behind my shoulder.
Okay.
You were sitting with your back to the wall. I was sitting with my back to the front door.
Very small table to me. It felt like we were at a desk.
It was like this big, and for those listening, this big. And I noticed 2 like younger girls coming in. Coming in over my left shoulder. They sat down at the table behind us, and Eric starts kind of giving me like he can't.
Duncan's in the middle of a story, and I just start laughing.
I'm talking about God knows what, but you start kind of giggling to yourself, and I'm like, what? Like, do I have cheese dip in my beard again?
Yeah,
that's what I really thought it was. But you were like,
true story. You had cheese dip in your beard earlier. So,
I did. Yeah. Well, that's why I said it. So, but nonetheless, Eric then proceeded to text me, and he said, dude, what did you say? Look up the text. What did you text me? You were like, there's a fake baby behind you.
The baby in the carrier behind us is a baby doll. because they sat down, and I get that there's
as the evening went on, it became more clear, like maybe
there's like the whole like, and it said something on the shirt of the baby. It was like real baby doll or something, or real life baby. But there's, obviously like in high school, like I did the whole like sugar or flour thing. You didn't do it. You said, right? Like in like home ec.
I ain't never had to take care of nothing.
They both look like they would have been at least college. So I don't know if they were that, or maybe she just looked like an older high schooler and they were doing it. It was definitely like for like a school thing, maybe.
Maybe.
So yeah, it was interesting to say the least, and it just started cracking me up because like the way she put the carrier down, and then I look, and I'm like, oh, cool, a little baby here.
I think I noticed the carrier sort of like over my shoulder, like in my corner of my eye, and I was like, oh, it's just it's a baby, and you were like, no, it's a fake baby, and we have a photo to prove like
it's kind of probably hard to see from here.
I'll post it. I'll post it in there.
I'll just send it to you, and then we got Duncan eating. I just sent this to our group chat. And then our fake baby right behind him.
That's so funny.
And it just cracked me up really hard.
But the funny thing is we couldn't get it off our mind for the rest of the meal. But the funniest part was when the thing started crying.
Yes, it kept crying. And what did she say?
She said at one point I heard her say, I fed it an hour ago.
Dude, this thing cried every like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was just
I heard her say at one point she was like it's about to start crying again. So like I guess like maybe I don't know how you feed the thing. Maybe you plug in.
It's probably like a magnet type thing.
You plug in a USB stick, I would think.
Like a real baby.
Yeah.
No, it was like a little fake bottle thing. I'm sure it's something where like the magnet touches for so long, and it probably shuts it off or something like that.
Dude, it was very funny, or
like an RFID chip.
Yeah,
that'd be probably expensive. I don't know.
It's probably Bluetooth.
Well, I mean, Magic Bands use RFID. I don't know. Anyways,
but the funniest thing was when an actual a family came in with actual babies, and then the actual baby started crying, and then the fake baby started crying.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this life?
And the fake baby sounded like it was crying through like a walkie-talkie kind of.
Yeah.
It was just very muffled
like,
because you could tell the speaker's like within like the stomach or something and like under some cushion.
If you had been shut your eyes, you would think somebody's FaceTiming a crying baby. That's what it sounded like.
On a really clear call, but yeah. So that was pretty funny.
That was pretty funny. I will remember that at least until next week. But nonetheless, I just figured it might be fun to discuss that before we get into our fake baby excursion before we get into the topic at hand. So social media, huh?
Social media. Yeah, we're gonna rank our top 3 social media platforms. Just something to kind of do pretty quick, maybe like a 30-ish minute video, an audio episode. But yeah, just go over it. We're not going to dive into how we feel about social media maybe too much or anything.
Yeah, I think we thought
we're going to do deep dives on probably individual social media platforms at some point.
I think we both thought that like, yeah, we could just sit here and say like, oh, Snapchat, I ain't got that, but I got a LinkedIn. But I think it would be interesting just to be like, oh, these are my favorites.
Yeah, like what do you use every day? Like when you wake up, like let's not kid ourselves. When you wake up in the morning, I'm talking to you, whoever's watching, listening to this.
Me.
You probably go ahead and list, or you probably jump on your phone immediately before you even like.
You've got a priority list for sure.
Yeah, like what apps do you open right away?
So are we?
Let's go with your number 3.
My number 3, easily for me. I don't really have that many. But I guess for me, my number 3 would have to be MySpace. That top 8 is rocking. No, I'm just kidding. But
I'm gonna say, I mean, it still could be a top 3.
It still could be a thing.
I'm not gonna lie, I would pick it over Instagram.
Dude, if we were still on MySpace, you'd probably be in my top 8.
Probably, yeah. I feel like to mess with you, you'd always be 8 on mine.
Probably. Yeah.
That'd be such like a 2000s Eric thing to do to Duncan.
Do you remember?
Just make you number 8. Garrett would always have me off of his top 8 for sure.
He'd have Andrew.
I'd have Kenny as my number 1.
Andrew, your brother, would be his number 1.
Yeah.
Dude, isn't it funny how that just to sidetrack for a minute, that idea of the top 8, like it ruined friendships for people.
It did, and I remember at one point towards the end of it being like really popular and everyone using it was. They expanded where you could do like a top, just none, 1, 2, 4, 8, and like 16 or something.
Yeah, maybe 12, something.
Yeah, they kind of had different numbers, and so people started.
I remember when I would look at like my friends and see that I moved, and I'd be like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, it would be very jarring to be like, "Okay, I moved, or I got to put you here," and I'm trying to like get. It was like very Game of Thrones for MySpace. What position are you going for?
If it were up to me, obviously the old tried and true, Facebook would be my. Out of my top 3, my bottom feeder.
Number 3, okay.
Yeah, it's just the one. It's so funny. It's the one that I like the least, but I probably spend the most time on.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like
it kind of feels like in a way that MySpace died when we didn't think it would. Facebook has been there at least twice as long now, in like relevancy.
Yeah, I guess.
And also, it's just there. Like at this point, it's there. Like I know a lot of people like my sister's age and younger don't have Facebook.
I was gonna say, high school kids don't have Facebook now.
I love how older people complain about like people always being on their phones or on the internet and stuff, but I can guarantee you the usage percent for Facebook is per the age demographic has got to be like 50 and up.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, dude. I remember when Facebook was like brand new. Like I don't know, some people, some younger people might not remember when like Facebook was the brand new thing. But also, dude, what year do you think you stopped using MySpace?
I would have been a junior or senior in high school.
Really?
Yeah.
I guarantee you it's probably later than that.
It probably was,
I still was using MySpace in college. And that was 2009.
I do want to find my old... Here's some pictures of me when you put in Eric MySpace. That's me in my winter formals sophomore year.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. When I was like much skinnier.
Dude, weren't we all? But it's just, I just was like.
That's my favorite picture of my sister when she's young. That was my hat. And I was like, do this. Because she had no idea what it meant. But sorry, go ahead.
It's just funny. Like I go back and think about conversations I had like while I was in college. So like, what year did you graduate?
2009.
Okay. So yeah.
You were what, 2008 or 7?
I graduated in 2007.
Okay.
But like 2009, I was still using MySpace. I still recall using, and I remember that transition into Facebook.
Yeah.
And it being like, oh, this might not last. But dude, go back to how Facebook was in the beginning. It was so innocent. It was so, free.
It was a diary more than MySpace was definitely about like kind of being like flashy and like showing off like your HTML skills and all that. Facebook really was like a diary and like a photo album.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing.
More so than Instagram.
Once upon a time, you could have both, and like they kind of, MySpace, dude. That was always the coolest thing.
They overlap for me for sure.
You could update, change your background and change your song and everything like that.
Yeah.
I always thought like, oh, Facebook should do something like that, but I mean, nah, it's definitely like a totally different thing. But then it wasn't until a couple of years after that when like my parents started getting Facebook profiles did, in my opinion, like Facebook start to kind of like become a little bit messy.
See, I feel like MySpace got that way. That's why I think
I think everybody just kind of stopped caring about MySpace.
I mean, Facebook, you kind of never want to be the first one to the party in a sense.
Yeah.
As far as technology goes.
You remember like in the beginning, like you could only get a Facebook if you were in college.
That's a very beginning. I feel like when Facebook, I will say that is true, but I think when Facebook actually got mainstream, they didn't have that rule anymore.
And I think that's what drew so many, at least like people my age to it, was like when you could finally get a Facebook and you didn't have to like be in college or whatever. So I guess maybe this was probably about my senior year of high school. Dude, it was exciting, and you wanted to get on there because like it was kind of like the exclusive cool thing to do.
Sure.
But what about you? What's your? I would assume. I mean, what's your?
I remember actually. This is random for MySpace though.
You touched me.
I'm sorry. This may have been Facebook. I feel like it's MySpace though. That I remember when we had first moved. So I guess it was
pictures
probably
of
MySpace.
Duncan with a fake grill in. No, that was MySpace.
Well, did you really do that?
Yeah.
You got to find those.
I don't know where they are.
They're on MySpace still. Probably.
I know. I don't think my MySpace kind of exists anymore.
Mine is something's trying to load for mine. So far, there's 2 pictures of my old MySpace. My URL on MySpace was ItalyMan91.
Italy man.
Yeah, because I'm Italian.
Racist.
So I used to like it being Italian a lot more. Now I don't really care.
I used to love being Italian.
Yeah, now I don't care. I got my ravioli, whatever.
Too much garlic bread.
I remember trading off, and this is very Game of Thronesy. I remember trading off with one of like the second most popular girl in my grade. I traded off helping her with homework and doing one of her like papers or something, or it was like math or something like that. But she had to go ahead and post them on MySpace wall a couple times for 1 week to give me traction in the school to be more popular, and it worked. For her to give me attention on
posted on your wall or whatever.
Yes, like to where it would be like connected to where people could then see it.
Like, oh my God, Eric's wiener is so
Something,
nice.
Maybe. No,
not big,
like
but nice.
Just nice. It's like nice, like a small puppy.
It's nice looking.
So, but no, it's I forget what she posted, but I know it was like in 1 week span she had to like write like 3 things, and I like negotiated that.
What was her name?
I think it was Ashley.
Michelle Greentree.
Ashley, is it Greer? This is so weird to say her last name publicly.
I don't know. Is she
I forget
still
her
alive?
name, to be honest. As far as I know, we're not friends on Facebook. So,
dude,
who's popular now?
People I went to high school with, it's like, are they still alive?
Some people. Well, some people aren't. But yeah, so I remember doing that. But all right, so Facebook is your number 3. Facebook's my number 3 too.
I figured it probably would be.
It actually was something else until about 5 minutes ago, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I actually enjoy Facebook overall more than what my original number 3 is.
Snapchat. Do you have a Snapchat?
I do have a Snapchat. I actually thought the other day, so I'm in a group chat with you guys. Am I the only one that has a Snapchat? I know Garrett pops up on mine, but I don't think he uses it.
They have them. They just don't use them. And I have
Who uses Snapchat out of all of us?
Dude.
Probably only me.
You actually use it?
I lurk more. I definitely chat with some people on it a lot more than I text with some people, but I don't necessarily post on Snapchat too much.
I had it
when I was looking like a snack last week. I went ahead and posted that though.
I had a Snapchat for 1 day, and I was like,
"What happened?"
I'm not a fan of like taking photos of myself. I just don't like it.
Same.
And dude, you need a new case, my friend.
I love this case, and I don't think they make it anymore.
But I had a Snapchat for 1 day, got tired of it immediately, and then immediately deactivated my account. But so
I gotta send this to my friend later.
I don't have a Spotify or Snapchat.
Is Spotify your number 2?
Spotify is not my number 2. I don't use Spotify either. I'm not
Our number 2s are definitely going to be different.
I would assume so. Yeah.
Our number 1s may be the same, but our number 2s are definitely going to be different.
Well, should I go ahead and say my number 2?
Say your number 2.
Number 2 for me would have to be Twitter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not my number
I've
two.
had a Twitter, dude. I've had a Twitter since like 2009 or 2010. I've had one for a long time.
Do you remember either why you created your Twitter or when you created your Twitter? Because I have a Twitter story. Twitter's my number one, which kind of jacks us up a little bit.
Figured it would
but I
be.
love Twitter so much. I'm very happy about Twitter.
You're the Twitter guy.
I'd love to. I would buy like Twitter merch, honestly.
I don't recall exactly why I got one. I mean, I would assume it's because like all of my friends started getting them, but I don't recall an exact reason why. Why did you get a Twitter?
I remember I made a Twitter at some point.
I think I've had
away
multiple
from it.
Twitters. I had a Twitter originally, and then I deactivated it, and then I made a new one.
See, kind of similar for me. I remember making a Twitter. I didn't really use it. I remember one night there was really bad storms around. We have a local meteorologist named Joey Solopek. And I remember one night it was
the one that wears the bow tie?
Yes.
You used to wear a bow tie?
Yeah, I don't think he does anymore.
Really tall?
It was basically like, kind of like goofy looking, to be honest. We went ahead and there was really bad storms, like tornadoes or something, and it basically was him on there like, hey, I'm going to be updating on Twitter. Even if we lose power, you lose power on your TV. And I was thinking, wow, instead of like carrying a radio, we have cell phones now. Why don't I like log back into my Twitter? I remember going in to reset the password because I didn't know it anymore. Resetting my password and getting on Twitter and following him. And then I was like, I'm going to commit to this social media platform because I didn't like it originally. That's why I didn't keep using it. So I went ahead and was like, I'm going to go ahead and keep using it and force myself to use it. So I followed a bunch of like famous people I like and all that. And ever since then, I mean, I love Twitter. I absolutely love Twitter.
Twitter is probably to me the most helpful. Like the most, I think
I was telling someone that the other day.
Utility to it.
If I want to see both sides of something, like political especially, or if I want to see, so like the coronavirus, which is going around in China right now, I've been looking for that and stories on that through Twitter because I can see so many different things. Granted, sometimes information can be wrong on Twitter more than other places because it can be so knee-jerk. But if you actually take the time to sift through things, you get a much more raw response and like news cycle on Twitter itself. So I absolutely, if I need to look at news right away, I love Twitter.
Yeah, you know, when I come across something and I want like people's instant reaction, or like if I wonder if like anybody else may be experiencing the same thing, then it's always like Twitter. Like I can't think of a specific example, but like I remember one night a brand new episode of Rebels had just come out, and long story short, Sabine's last name in Rebels is Ren, and I remember thinking, oh my God, Kylo Ren, putting the two together.
Wow. Gotcha.
And I immediately went to Twitter, wondering if anyone else had caught that. I was just watching
because you don't see that it's WREN for Sabine.
I didn't know the spelling at the time, so he had spelled different. But at the time, like I remember seeing, like, oh, did anybody else just catch that? Is she related to Kylo? Like that kind of stuff, 4 years ago, whenever that was. But whenever you want the most up to date, like people's instant reaction to something, then like Twitter is the way to go. Plus, like, dude, watching something through the eyes of like what you're actually watching it, but also watching your stream on Twitter, like through the Oscars or the Super Bowl, whatever. Like that's always like a fun
Everyone's
way.
kind of hanging out together more than any other social media platform.
Yeah,
and I think people react together more. I've built more friendships off of Twitter, like strictly online friendships, than any other platform. Twitter, dude, it's by far my favorite. I mean, if I could only use one social media platform, it's going to be Twitter.
I need more love on Twitter, though. I hate when I post stuff and I'm like, oh, this is so good.
You can't do it for...
And I'm like, oh, it gets like
can't
one
do it for
like.
the likes, man. Can't do it for the likes.
Follow me at Dunk Butler. What about you? What's your number 2?
I play a lot for Twitter. My number 2 is actually going to be Reddit, which I'm kind of new to still. I've only been on it for about hardcore the past like 2 or 3 months, maybe. Well, maybe 6-7 months. I actually was getting on it every day at my old job, to be honest, on the computer. And then one day someone blocked it. But it was blocked on everyone's computer. So I'm like, I don't know what happened. But it went from being totally fine to being blocked. So I don't know. It must have been like company wide. But Reddit's awesome because if you really want to drill down, like Twitter, you can obviously search like keywords and hashtags and stuff. Reddit, people make like, it's really just chat rooms, but I like the way it's actually presented because a lot of chat room, a lot of forum sites are like super just like they look kind of bad aesthetically. Reddit looks pretty good. It's
Yeah.
easy to read.
It
There's really
forums can
funny and great.
You go back to
Reddit
forums
threads.
from like 10 years ago and like they're super messy.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, like there's a forum that like
I'm gonna pull up what I follow on Reddit while you're talking.
there's a forum that like I used to worship back when I was huge into like paintball and stuff in my high school days.
Mm-hmm.
There's a forum called PB Nation, and I think probably it might have been an influencer of what Reddit would come to be, because PB Nation is this huge forum where players from all over the world like talk and sell stuff and everything like that. And like, dude, that for me was like I still check it to this day. But for me, like that was my, when it wasn't MySpace, it was PB Nation, and like excuse me. That like the idea of a forum I think can be, and Twitter is kind of a forum, and when you think about it a little
Absolutely,
bit,
it is.
But it's different than like a MySpace.
It's by far the most fluid like forum site.
A Facebook or anything like that, where you got your walls and stuff. So, what do you follow on Reddit?
Reddit, my communities that I actually follow. I look at a lot more, but the ones that I like when I pull up is Apex Legends, which is like my favorite game for the past year, and it's a great spot because the developers actually. That's one really nice thing about social media. I would say, especially Twitter and Reddit, is people get on Reddit and do like Ask Me Anythings, AMAs.
Oh yeah.
And you're able to sit there and like really communicate with famous people or just like people who you look up to. And Apex Legends, their developers are very active on there. They have like people who work social media just for Reddit. So Apex Legends, Doughboys, which is my favorite podcast, that I really don't look at that Reddit too much, but they pimp the Reddit a lot on their shows. But I don't look at it too much. Same goes for Podcast The Ride, which is one of my other favorite podcasts. It's like a theme park podcast. I don't look at it too much. A lot of it, I go on their Facebook group actually, and see like funny memes based on the podcast. Marvel Studios spoilers. So that's more just like Marvel news, and they'll still like spoiler tag everything. And the one cool thing about Reddit is like Twitter, if you're scrolling, you just see stuff.
Yeah.
Reddit, you can mark something as a spoiler, and if it's a picture, it's like glazed over.
Oh,
so
cool.
you have to actually open it to see it, but you can like pass over and you don't know what it is.
Right. Yeah.
So Reddit is pretty respectful, at least as far as like spoiler alerts and things
Dude,
like that.
like, when I do my trailer reactions and I'm not going to watch this until the end of the day when I get home.
Always backfires.
I'm sitting at work or whatever. Like, dude, I always like open up Twitter and I'm like, oh, there's Michael Keaton in the Morbius trailer or whatever the case may be. It always spoils stuff for me.
And then Star Wars leaks, which is like a kind of like a spoilers for Star Wars stuff going on, and just like
Spoiler.
their community. I kind of like following the leaks stuff, even though I don't care for spoilers too much anymore with a lot of things, because a lot of times stuff that is spoilers, people think is spoilers, doesn't end up really being a spoiler. And also it's people just kind of announcing or discovering things. A lot of fun fan theories. You go down that rabbit hole sometimes.
Yeah.
Reddit's great for that.
That's
yeah,
what
I really like.
Reddit
I
is
really like Reddit. Reddit's
rabbit
been
hole.
good so far. I dig it. Twitter's always going to be a number. So number one for me is Twitter. Number 2 is Reddit. 3 is Facebook. Your third, we're going backwards to you because you haven't told us your number 1. Facebook. Twitter for number 2. What's your number 1?
Before we jump into a number 1, I thought this
Casper mattresses.
I thought that before we get to that, let's thank our sponsor, Las Delicious. No, I thought it would be funny to maybe mention
where loss is more.
Where
that'd be a good one.
Maybe failed social media platforms.
Oh, what was the Google one that they did?
That's what I was going to say, dude. The one that sticks out to me is Google Plus. Is that what it was called? Google Plus?
I feel like that's a thing, dude. I remember making one where it was like circles, right?
Yeah, it was like your circle or whatever. You had to make one there if you had like a YouTube account, I think, for a brief hot second.
Yeah, Google Plus was it. I remember Andrew got really, if I remember correctly, Andrew was like, I'm going to be all about Google Plus. Andrew was huge on the social media bandwagon and stuff before it got big. Like, for real. He was all up into different social medias. Oh, dude, Yik Yak, remember that?
I was going to say,
you could post like random stuff.
Looking up, failed.
The kids in high school, when I was managing Nukes Collierville, loved Yik Yak because they would talk mad crap about each other at school.
Never heard.
And you wouldn't know who it is.
Vine is I guess Vine is,
I have a Vine stuff somewhere. I don't even know what my name was on there, but I have some good videos.
I never had a Vine, but Meerkat Friendster is one that I never was.
Meerkat? Never heard of that.
Yeah, to the top 10 failed social media sites. And I think Daily Booth, I feel like I remember that. I heard about that. Friend feed,
Never heard of that.
iTunes ping.
Never heard of that.
Uh,
Apple Music has tried to make it really like social networky, and like no one.
has it like Pandora kind of turned into like a
Dude, I haven't turned on Pandora since.
or social, or is it Spotify?
I'm sorry, and this is gonna make me sound snooty, but this is how I feel knee jerk about stuff. When someone says they use Pandora, it's the same thing as if someone tells me they use an Android. I'm like, you're better than that.
Meerkat, an innovative video platform that eventually helped propel live streaming to the top of all our social feeds. Friendster, number 5. Number 4, Yik Yak. I've never heard of Yik Yak before. Number 3, Vine. Number 2, Google Plus. Number 1, MySpace.com. Dude, this is so weird.
Justin Timberlake bought MySpace.
I
like
remember
a massive
that.
sharing of it, maybe 5 years ago.
You know,
or
it's
so?
weird seeing MySpace on a phone. I feel like I've never seen MySpace on a phone before. You know what I mean?
I never used a MySpace app.
Yeah, I don't think I ever downloaded a MySpace app.
I'm not even sure I really got on it. I'm like, I used a BlackBerry before I got to
Ooh,
an iPhone.
me too.
Dude, I love BlackBerry.
Dude,
I still love BlackBerries.
I love Blackberries. I wish they were better than like they are, because they
Their
still make
software and
phones,
security is excellent,
but they're crappy phones.
then they tried to jump up to Android. It's a long thing, and then Microsoft and all this stuff. But yeah, so MySpace was definitely a computer site. But
always on the computer. But for me, dude, my number one is like when I wake up in the morning and I roll over and the first thing I look at is Instagram.
Oh, I kind of thought it was going to be YouTube, to be honest.
Oh well, yeah. I thought we didn't.
I don't know. We were trying to figure out before this. I don't believe YouTube is a social media site.
YouTube is
now I would say Twitch is then too, and all that kind of stuff. But
well, yeah, but
we'll do a whole TMTS.
You know,
on
it's
YouTube,
funny. I feel like YouTube is more of a social media thing than it was maybe 5 years ago.
Dude, more than I think 2 years ago.
It's slowly becoming more like now that especially has like if you get so many subscribers, you can make like those little tiny quick videos like a Instagram story or what have you. Like,
oh, okay. See, I don't really pay attention to YouTube enough.
Dude, I'm on YouTube all the time. Like it would definitely be my number one, but if we're going by these preset
like a traditional,
rules,
yeah, I gotcha.
Then it's Instagram for sure. It's Instagram is
because YouTube to me is streaming, not social media, even though it incorporates both.
We'll
have to do streaming services too. It's like a kind of a spiritual successor to this. Our top 3 streaming services.
But yeah, dude, it's the one that like I feel like I'm the most addicted to. It's the one that like it's interesting because I love Instagram stories. Like I actually really love those. But it's gotten to the point now to where like I actually have made a concerted effort to stop looking at Instagram stories. Because I feel like some people get too personal with their Instagram stories. And I'm like, I shouldn't be looking at this.
More personal than like them posting pictures and videos on Instagram
Yeah, because
themselves?
I think people feel a little bit more free when they know something is only going to last for so long. Like when
that's a good way to look at it. I could see that.
When people like, you know, because we're at the age now where like a lot of our friends and stuff have kids and stuff now. Like, and when I started like seeing you post pictures of like, you know, your kids and like, when it's like kids in like in the bath or like swim.
That's not weird unless
stuff.
You make it weird. To be honest, yeah,
it's just like,
I get where you're coming from.
I'm like I shouldn't be looking at this. Like I'm not like it's not for me. So I've actually made like there's only a few like bigger, like there's comedians and stuff. I still look at their stories or whatever, but like people I know, I don't really look at their stories as much. Like people I went to school with and stuff, I don't really look at their stories because like I feel like some people take it a little too far.
I would say,
and I feel like I
get what you're saying. I don't feel like
don't
that's
feel
an
comfortable
issue,
looking at it.
I teach their own with that for sure. Andrew, my brother Andrew, he's like Mr. Social Media. Honestly, I think he does a great job with his social media as far as mixing.
He's a big Twitter guy now.
Yeah,
right?
He likes Twitter a lot. As far as mixing, he will tell you he's very proud. Britney Spears follows him.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he's very proud of that. You probably heard that at the New Year's party.
How did he pull that off?
He made sure she still did.
He just tweeted her and she...
I'm sure. And it's been a while that since she
I
started following
I remember y'all posted about it, and it was like the anniversary of when she followed him.
Yeah, it was something. Like, it's just funny. I had the big crush on her when we were little, too. It's funny.
You know, it's funny. But, I'm surprised that she still follows him.
Well, it's probably one of those things where she probably doesn't scroll. The thing with, I think, a lot of people who follow a lot of people don't actually scroll through their feeds too much. They're more getting things in. They're not putting things out.
Saying things.
So they're not, it's not as important to see what other people are saying. Mm-hmm. It's more a platform for you to speak.
Right. The one thing, dude, like in this, you saying that just reminded me of this. Like, this is a new concept to me too. It's like something I was not familiar with up until like a year or two ago. Is the follow and then unfollow that tactic?
Yes, yes. Which I know there's a couple people. You have a little better on your Mac. Just heads up, just in case that went away.
It's all good. It's all. I don't know where the charger's down there.
Yeah, I think you had told me a couple. There's one social media. They have a website. It's a pop culture one. I'm not going to say what it is because they still follow me. I actually like their stuff and their site and all that. But they followed and unfollowed you. And I remember being like, oh, they followed. I think they unfollowed me too. And I looked at it and they're still following me.
It's the weirdest thing, man. And it
it's
makes
cheap. And I'll go back and if someone random follows me and I don't know who they are,
I don't follow them
or
anymore.
if it's a business, I don't immediately follow.
Yeah. I
really and truly, I went through and cut who I was following from like 1,200 to like 800 one day.
Yeah,
like
maybe like 6 months ago, I purged because on Twitter it's easier because you can just look at their profile
and you can go through who you're following and
see if they're still following you.
Yeah.
On Instagram, it's a little bit harder because you actually have to go look at yourself and their followers
well, Instagram is like hiding a lot of things like that now, as far as likes and views and things. Yeah, which is I'm fine with that.
But dude, yeah, I went through and purged my stuff like a couple of months back because like, you know, it's these weird random accounts that like I would look at it and be like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like I'll give these people a follow. It's pretty neat or whatever because they're following me for whatever reason. And then, you know, a couple of months later, I look and they're not following me anymore. I'm still following them, you know, for some reason. But and then it makes you wonder. It's like, did they have, you know, you ask yourself like, or at least I do. Like, did they actually ever follow me in the first? I can't ever, you know, but
no, they probably do. What they do is they probably find some sort of a tagged word or something.
Oh yeah,
and they're just follow and then immediately go back and unfollow.
I don't like that tactic, for sure. But it's I don't know, man.
So we got
Facebook, Twitter, IG.
Okay, my 3-1 is Facebook, Reddit, Twitter. Twitter's the best. Twitter wins forever. So yeah, failed ones. Never heard of Friendster. Yik Yak was cool. Vine, oddly enough, died, and now TikTok has taken over.
Oh yeah, dude, TikTok. That's the I don't.
Dude, my mom's obsessed with TikTok.
I don't think I've ever looked at it, like unless somebody reposted it on Facebook.
This is what I was telling my brother. Asked me the other day. He goes, "Do you have a TikTok account?" It was him or my sister, but we were all together, and I was like, "No," because to me,
don't they say doesn't China own TikTok or something?
Who knows, man? But they supposedly owned the one that was like your face to make you old or something.
No, that was the Russians, the face app,
that was Russian.
Face swap or whatever.
So they're like, do you have a TikTok? And I said no, because what it is to me, if you have a Twitter, an Instagram, and a Facebook, you get all the other social media platforms anyways,
right?
Because people repost from there. And if you have Instagram, all your stuff goes to Facebook basically at this point. It gets like posted there, but you don't need to have a TikTok because you can see everything from TikTok that people reposted on other social media sites.
At least
so I'm like, I don't need to see.
Yeah.
And that's another reason I like Twitter is because it's like all three. Facebook is a lot of people posting like quotes or like pictures of like inspirational quotes and things or links to other sites. Twitter's kind of like
which Jedi Master are you?
Yeah, I'm BuzzFeed or something. So yeah, I don't really care for TikTok because I think a lot of the content on there is funny, and it's kind of amazing to me how like a year ago all they did was this crazy, it clearly was a marketing ploy of like these super annoying crappy ads on Facebook of like weird like cosplayers and stuff, and then people were like, this is dumb, but people were like the TikTok kids and TikTok people, and then all of a sudden it actually genuinely got popular.
Have you seen this? Like, this is something that like literally
Dolly Parton's
the like has literally taken off like within the past 24 hours. Is this
Dolly Parton meme where it's like your four different like LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Tinder. Like, how would you have your 4 pictures on each one? They're pretty funny, but whatever.
That's pretty funny, actually. Mark Ruffalo, I thought that's pretty funny.
Mark Ruffalo is a super strong social media game. Very good on social media. We'll have to do that at some point. I guess we'll do that when we talk about the social media platforms.
You mentioned like, do you have any like go-to follows that you're like always got to keep up with their stuff?
No, I wouldn't say. I would say someone who I followed for a while for bear stuff that I really trust. I'll have to like shout him out for this too on like Twitter once the episode goes up. So don't let me forget. Aaron Lemming. I've followed him for a while. He may follow me, I think, but I've always gone to him for, especially like bears like when like off season is going on, or stats for like after a game or during a game, or like what's going on in press conferences and his thoughts. As far as like a beat reporter, I really hope I'm not insulting him by calling him that, because that's not an insult for me.
I'm a professional.
Well, to me, I'm like a beat writer. People kind of call that for whatever.
Beat writers are like an intern.
Well, I mean, I feel like he doesn't necessarily do it like that's probably not his main job. I don't think.
Yeah.
But like, it used to be called the Bears Brothers. Now it's called Chicago Audible. I think. I totally forget now. I follow them I do their podcast and stuff too, which is crazy.
I don't know.
But they have a really good social media, so I do them. Nick Mariano. I follow current Bears players for the most part. I never follow people who go to another team.
Remember when Zach Long showed his wiener?
That was Kyle Long, and that was on Tariq Cohen's Facebook Live. Yeah. So I follow a lot of Bears players.
Thanks for Twitter for letting us see that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But yeah, I follow that. Of course, I follow like Chicago Bears. I follow a couple different like social or pop culture accounts that I really like. But other than that, I'm kind of like, I just follow like whoever I feel like is interesting and I like to follow. I think you can get petty with like follows and unfollows, but if people get petty with it, I don't mind getting petty back, to be honest.
Like I said, I feel like Twitter has the most utility for me. Like some of the ones, like some of the Twitter accounts that I have set up to notify me is like John Campia, Umberto Gonzalez, and our boy MCU Cosmic. Because they, when it comes to like
annihilation,
when it comes to news being broken like immediately,
or when you're just making up news,
or that, I like being notified immediately.
See, I don't actually have a single Twitter alert person. I don't think I've ever done that.
I did that.
I have momentarily for like when art prints have gone, where they're like, oh, it goes on sale this time. I'm like, I want to be reminded.
Yeah.
So I'll do that. But I don't think I've ever done. I think maybe for Malco I did it for Infinity War tickets when they tweeted about it. Call. But I've never been like long term with it.
Adrian Wojnarowski is an NBA. What would you call him? Journalist. He's on TV too.
Beat writer.
I don't know. He's on ESPN.
No, I gotcha.
But he's an NBA guy, and like he knows when it comes to like the trade deadline for the NBA, he gets all the trades first, but also for the draft, he will tell you who the player is being drafted 10 minutes before they announce it on TV.
I like that. Watching the NFL draft, you kind of get spoiled, but you find out stuff, and then you have like the trade deadline or like off-season stuff and free agency for NFL, you see someone tweeting before, like they know they got cut, but it hasn't been announced yet, or they're getting traded, because a player will like tweet like a sad face or like a running face or a running emoji, and you're like, okay, they're leaving, like before things are actually announced. Social media, especially Twitter, has been really kind of unique and cool to me, at least for the most part, in a way for like athletes and like actors and actresses to not only interact with the general audience, but to also give us like sneak peeks and things like that. Like you get to see a lot. It's almost like seeing behind the curtain on a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I really loved. I think Twitter is the culmination of what social media is as far as good and bad goes.
Could you make Twitter better in any way, you think? Like, is there something about Twitter that bugs you at all? If you could make it that much better? No. I know they doubled the character limit, but sometimes I wish you could type as many characters as you want.
And then it just separated automatically. You can hit like the addition button a lot of times, but not if it's a reply.
You could just do a whole tweet.
I think that negates the idea of Twitter.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's so funny.
I would not like Twitter to go to that way.
When I do a long tweet or whatever, I have to go back and like change like YOU to U or something that, just to get.
But sometimes you don't want to go to that second and make it a thread. So you've got to like.
I've never done that before.
Oh, you can't do it if you're replying, but you can do it if it's a new tweet.
Yeah.
Do you go dark mode on Twitter, or do you go regular white mode?
What does that mean? Does it mean
dark
like
mode? Like
the background's dark and stuff? I think so. They
do a true black mode now for the OLED, so you should do that if you do it. That way it saves you on battery. But you're not on Twitter as much.
I'm not on Twitter a whole lot. No, my computer just died.
Okay. Well,
before we end, I was just thinking. When we did the Heroshot podcast, my old podcast, look at that beautiful tropical background.
Man, that is not a stock background.
We used to recommend something, and I don't. What did we call it?
The weekly poll.
The weekly poll.
Because then we had the weekly poll, and then which can be this week. We can do the weekly poll. We got to remember to put this shit up, though, once the episode goes
Yeah,
live.
no.
Because this will ideally be going up about probably 3-ish weeks after we were recording.
No,
right now.
I just thought maybe it'd be fun to just recommend something at the end. Maybe we can take turns and like.
Would this be for every episode, though? Or?
Yeah, every episode. Just in the episode.
But we don't know when they're coming out, so this could be super outdated. I feel like for something, this is like behind the scenes stuff. It shouldn't even be in here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna go ahead and recommend something anyways.
Okay. Is it time sensitive though?
It's sort of time sensitive,
Oh,
but
boy.
I mean, like,
Okay.
it's a television series. It's very new.
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
It's not Curb Your Enthusiasm. Even
Dark
though,
Crystal, Age of Resistance.
even though that just came, Curb Your Enthusiasm just came
give
out.
that show
I'm
another
going to
chance.
recommend my weekly pull for this week is going to be
Forky asked a question.
The Outsider on
Okay.
HBO. Have
Which
you?
which will maybe halfway done by the time this comes up.
Maybe.
Okay. We'll binge The Outsider on HBO.
It's if anybody doesn't know, if you've seen the commercials, Jason Bateman. It's based on a Stephen King adaptation. It's based on a Stephen King novel, but it's
And it's got not Mads Mikkelsen, the guy who kind of they have the same name. Is it Chris Mikkelsen?
I can't look it up. My computer's dead. From Rogue One.
Yeah,
It's,
and Talos and Captain
Talos
Marvel.
and Captain Marvel. Yeah, what's his name? Ben Mendelsohn.
Yeah,
There, dude.
Sure.
It's fantastic acting. Jason Bateman has directed a few of the episodes. They are like some of the most.
who's directed a few? Bateman has.
Jason Bateman.
Dope. I didn't know he directed anything. That's cool.
I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's a beautifully beautifully shot television show. Some of the most beautiful like scenes I've ever seen. Like just creative shots. I really, as like a movie nerd or like whatever.
Cinematography.
Yeah.
nuts.
Awesome music. The music like puts the like it makes the mood of like whatever scene it might be. It's a fantastic show. Unfortunately, I spoiled myself by reading the synopsis of the plot. Don't do that of the novel.
And chances are, since it's a Stephen King thing, it's going to be vastly different.
I kind of hope it is.
None of his things actually really end up like the book.
But my recommendation for this week is The Outsider on HBO. Check it out. I think you'll really enjoy it. If you like crime thriller dramas,
Is there like any sci-fi or horror element to it? That
maybe.
okay. So yes.
Maybe.
So yes.
All right, but yeah, that's it. Okay, let's end the episode, huh?
Yeah, cool. So make sure to hit us up on Twitter. We got @DunkButler. We've got @PlayAlotta, @TMTSPod if you want to interact with Isaac. Who
Hashtag
is MIA
too much to
until
lick.
some episode from now, maybe. But yeah, so just hit us up. Let us know if you like this. If you have any topics you want us to talk about.
Oh yeah,
Even if you want to come on and talk to us about whatever, we'll Skype you in or we'll figure out something. Get you in here.
What should the hashtag be for topics?
Hashtag too much to topic, followed by the topic.
Too much topic. No,
Too much
I
to
think
topic.
it should just be too much to say pod.
Okay, hashtag TMTS.
TMTS pod.
Hashtag or no, because that's the @
Okay.
and it's not just a podcast, so that bothers me. But I had to have that.
Okay.
Well, now it's not just a podcast. @TMTS, and then you put whatever your topic. Cool.
I love it. All right, folks. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
Bye.